Hello, I'm Kyle, and this is Give Pause Hobby, the channel where I stop to appreciate the things I love to fill my free time with. It has been a long time. I've been filling my free time with lots of other things besides this channel. In fact, for the years that the channel is going on, the DBMP, Design, Build, Model, Paint, Give Pause was like towering above everything else in my BG Stats app because true ones know I keep track of all that stuff because my hobby expands beyond just like around a table with a game at hand. It's getting the games prepared and thinking about it, designing, and a YouTube channel or whatever else. Well, anyways, it's been a while since I've really felt the urge to make a video, and I think that's a pretty good reason to not do it. And it has actually been just about a year since I clicked pause, and this isn't me officially clicking unpause like the name kind of suggests, but it is me saying I have ideas for videos that have gone on long enough that an unpause might be in the future, and I'm planning on getting some videos put together because way long ago, the first videos that I edited and uploaded were when I was heading to the Army School of Music back in 2020 for a job in the Army National Guard in the band, and I'm going there again for a different role still within the band. So who knows, maybe it'll be like me closing the loop and bringing a bunch of raw unedited footage to be at School of Music for a couple months this time away from family. Might be like coming home to the channel. But in any case, despite this, wonderful for microphone voice I've got going on with a little bit of end of school year cold that I seem to have caught, I've had some ideas for videos percolating for long enough that I was like, you know what? I think it might be time to unveil the camera and do this again. So what I've been doing, as I mentioned, that aside from Give Pause, been filling my time with lots of other DBMP. So lots of other projects that I have. I've been working on some solo bots for the forthcoming Spooktacular, which is by Level 99 Games, which has been super fun, and I've been super inattentive to like actually keep progress going on that. They have one dedicated solo bot, which is great, but you know me, I want all the bots, all the variety, and so I just thought, would this work? And the answer is yes. And with the different, like there's 20 different characters you can play as, so there's lots of variety there. It's just finding out how each one would make sense as a very easy to integrate bot that can either be for solo games or also added for multiplayer. So stay tuned, more on that later. Also did a couple of dev passes on Ploy, my little root Balatro mix. More on that down the road. Super excited with how that game's going, and even having my first real dive into creating TTS assets so I can play with people from afar instead of trying to get in-person play sessions, which has been really cool. There have been a couple other just like little projects around, but another one that is forthcoming before I go off to the School of Music. I'm trying to make a little Octonauts game way back when I made a simple, what do you call it? Bingo. That's not me saying bingo because I remember this bingo was what I was looking for, of like the Gups. If you know Octonauts, like the kids show, the kids love it. It's super fun. Learn facts about the ocean and adorable creatures driving around like colorful submarines. So it's just a Simon game with submarines, but this is going to be a little different, more like pandemic-y, I'm thinking. So working on that to leave them something with a little bit more teeth to it for me to leave. And speaking of those kids who are 8 and 5 now, which is crazy, I am, because I started Give Pause Hobby when the son was just barely born. So he was still pretty new when that happened. And then here we are, coming back to the channel a little bit. So another thing I've been spending time with is playing more games with the kids and my wife as like a family, or just with the kids, or just with even one of them. And not only just like light games, which I should have a link here about how I've used those in the past, because growing up, my brother and I, well before we knew how to read or understand the rules of some of the games we had around the house, because my mom was a Discovery Toys rep for a while, and so she had just cool games with like really, for the time, really cool components. We had no idea how they were supposed to be played, and so we just made up games with them, because games are just boxes of toys with rules in them, and we just kept the rules to the side. So light games I've played so many light games of Ahoy and Thunder Road and Root and just everything. Every game that we have, pretty much, that has like sizable table presence, we have gotten out and played with the kids, and it's been super fun. Zaya, Legends of a Drift System, makes for great light games, just like narrative spaceship exploration. So, but playing actual like real games with the kids has been super fun, and really excited for where that is going to lead moving forward. I also, one of the videos that is certainly coming up is my very timely Hall of Fame video for 2024, which is about almost 6 months in the past. But no spoilers or anything, but Explorers of Navoria might be on that list, because man, that game friggin' rules. More on that later, but been playing a lot of that game with my wife and friends, and solo. It has a solo component to it as well, so super fun. Then one other game, aside from like the mountaintop game that we get to, is Millennium Blades by Level 99 as well, which has solo capability, or co-op if you have those expansions, and I do now, and it's really great because that game rules and is super fun, and this allows me to actually put in more time than I would ever be able to with a play group of like humans, to go through and experience more of the decks that the game comes with. I got a ton of them from the most recent Kickstarter, so I'm like caught up with the expansions, and that means I have so many. Actually, that was a huge DBMP. I organized all of it into this giant, the original base box, but I made individual like lanes, and then color coded little like section dividers for every expansion, and yeah, that inspired me to play a number of solo games kind of back to back to back, and I'm really looking forward to doing some of that in the future, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. But the biggest game, like I said, the mountaintop, as Magic the Gathering is fully re-entered the Kyle gaming sphere. It kind of snuck in with a little bit of Before Work Commander a ways back, but then like Jumpstart just like worked its way into my brain of something that was just like a really cool idea, was really easy for onboarding new or lapsed players, also provided a lot of customization and like kind of design work. So there's videos up here about that in the past, and that hasn't really died down at all. I presented Project Jumpstart, Lord of the Rings and regular version at Con of the North, a game convention in the area, which I did not do a great job like describing it and catering to. It's a really like play heavy convention, and you actually sign up for tickets for a certain number of seats at every game that's presented, which goes for a certain length of time. And I think I posted as like 4-hour blocks to be like, I'll be here for 4 hours. I think most people are just like, if I'm spending 4 hours or more on a game, like it better be worth my time. That's what I really should have done, is just said like, no, this is like 1 hour or what. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Trying to get more people to like strangers, like people that I don't play with regularly, to just see how flexible and cool of a system it is without asking for too much at a convention where they're like, no, I want to get games in. So Commander, Project Jumpstart, back to standard, 60 card standard, which like, I don't know if like y'all watching played. I mean, I stopped playing originally in 2009. Again, video here for my little essay on what Magic meant to me with my Ravnica frame, which I'm looking at over there. And so that was like that was the reason I played Magic at all, was that set. And back then, there was like standard was what you did. Like dueling against one other person was how you played. And if you played a multiplayer game, you were like the oddball. So the fact that Commander as like a 4-player ideal, not strictly, but idealized 4 players, that's the most popular format, is like crazy world when I first heard about that and came back into the game. But so 60 card standard decks, where like when I'm telling my students who are in my games group about standard and what that means, they're like, you can have multiples of a card. Like they've never even conceptualized having multiples of a card, because again, how I came into Magic was like building junky, like casual decks out of the starter decks that were just like trash from Ravnica. And so right off the bat, like we understood 60 card limitations, 4 card like maximum, all that stuff. And then the way that we like built our collection was going to drafts. Like that is not hitting, at least the kids that I'm like, the students that I play with before school, they're all about Commander. The students that are in my group, almost entirely about Commander. Like they think the Jumpstart thing is cool because it's really odd, and combining 2 things together into one deck, they're just like, ooh, interesting. But when you tell them like, oh yeah, when your deck building is not just like one of everything, so it's this like bizarre hodgepodge, which is cool because there are things that like, I put cards in my Commander decks that I've never seen in play, which I think is interesting and cool. But in a 60 card deck, that is also a part of your customization, is like how many of a card you have in there, it matters. Now it can go too far where you're just like, oh, I just have like, 9 copies of or 9 cards, 4 cards each, and then mana, and then, well, that wouldn't work out, 10, I don't know, something, and then that's it. Then you're like, if your deck isn't doing exactly what you want it to, you're not having fun. And that's obviously the pitfall of standard Magic. But like, anyways, sorry, long tangent on that. The reason I got back into standard at all is because I've been proxying up the guild kits from, was it Return to Ravnica? No, Guilds of Ravnica and Legions. Ravnica Legions. I was not playing when those came out, but they had 60 card guild decks, which were much more like on point for what the guilds are supposed to do than anything resembling a deck from the original Ravnica back then. So I'm in the process of building all 10 of them. I think I have 7 built so far, and different sleeves for each guild, have the tokens and stuff. So in my games club and just playing games with my friends and everything, we can just choose a couple guilds and get to it, and kind of show like, oh, this is what Dimir is supposed to do, this is what Boros is supposed to do in Ravnica. And so that's been super fun. And then I'm gonna take it and customize them, because there's just some weirdness. I want to just like kind of balance them a little bit more. But so that's been a lot of fun to come back to that. And the last like Magic also touched on DBMP is me working on a solo bot variant. So Theros came with those 3 challenges, like face the Hydra, defeat the Horde, and defeat a god, or whatever they're called. And so that was really cool as a solo or co-op experience. And I was like, I've been like Jumpstart pilled, and like, well, what if there's a system where you had these half decks of like bot themes. So they were kind of more pigeonholed to a certain play style, and you put them together, and then you have this hodgepodge, just like, you have like dinosaur walls. Well, that would probably be green, so probably not that. Like wall birds, which could be like white or blue, and then green for the walls, as your deck, but then the 2 bots are like X, Y, whatever they would be. So that is in the infancy. I'm working my way through like the first 2 themes as like a trial. Goblins is one of them, naturally, and Urza is another one, naturally. But that's been a fun project to go over in the background whenever I have time, and look forward to maybe getting a little bit more headway this summer when I have a lot of time, unfortunately, away from the family. So speaking of that, what I'm planning on for this, obviously this, like breaking the seal and actually making a video for the first time in a long time, which I think, I'm not going to go on record and say this is why, but I would imagine me getting diagnosed with ADHD and getting medicated and getting the right dosage and actually getting my brain to do what I want it to do for most part, that probably led in part to me stepping away from the channel, because I know that the channel was originally just like a place for me to put a whole bunch of hyper focus and just like scattered, project like bandwidth, and so it's like good news, bad news situation. Like the good news is, ever since I have addressed that, I've been able to like be more effective at work. I've always been good at my job and enjoyed the heck out of it, but I feel like I'm the best I've ever been in the past couple of years. And but the bad news is that means stuff like this doesn't always happen. Again, I guess the good news, bad news, good news is there's like flourishing of other things that, I'll be honest, when you have a channel, even a dinky one like mine, that's putting things out at a semi-regular basis, it is not a non-zero time commitment. It is a zero-sum game when it comes to your hobby time. And so that's why I personally subscribe to like putting down every minute I spend on something in my free time, board game related or not, like projects around the house. 'Cause I think it's funny to see how things relate to how long it took me to build my kids' like playhouse in the backyard. So I've been really enjoying the like renaissance of projects in that time, but also excited to bring this back. So like I said, Hall of Fame video for 2024, super timely. Solo content for Millennium Blades, because it's a friggin' great game, and I again, just like way back when, I just wanted to see more content for the root bots, like solo content for root, and I just want to see a little bit more to share with other people, to show off what's been a super fun game to get more into Millennium Blades. I'm also excited, Old Lady Kate reacts videos coming back. I have the old list of songs that I wanted to present and see what her reaction was. So for you Old Lady Kate heads out there, that is in the works, so stay tuned. Projects I'm working on as they become more presentable, excited to show those off. And lastly, really trying to figure out how to actually do like short form content for just like to show the games that I just adore, and even if I don't always get them to the table, like I look at them on the shelf and I immediately have a backlog of great times around the table playing them. So trying to do that, but not in a way that's going to just like shut down the excitement meter, but just like quick hit type stuff, which, as old ones would know, that is not what this channel specializes in. So I guess with that, just like a little bit of self, reflection on what this channel is, what it hasn't been in a year or so, and what I'm hoping to do in the future. I guess I'm gonna sign off, and thanks for stopping by. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel being in front of the camera for the first time in a long time, with the intent to send it out to whoever will watch. So if you've made it here, certainly great to be back and to have you. And I look forward to come out with more stuff in the future. So until then, happy gaming, and we'll see you next time. No, it's thanks for taking a pause to give Pause Hobby. Come on, Kyle. Get your head in the game.